Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is doing okay today. It is Wednesday. It's time for Wind Down Wednesday. Hopefully, you guys have been having like such a really good week. Um, I was going to wait a while for some folks to get on, but I'm a little bit pressed for time, so I am just going to go ahead and jump right in it. Feel free to like comment below or, like, share, do whatever you feel free to do. So, hi everyone, let me introduce myself. I am Javita and I help single moms go from feeling powerless and fearful to devising a plan to help build and cultivate her network and her net worth so that she can reduce stress, find time for herself, and live a life full of love and abundance. I just want to make her life a little bit easier. And with having a plan in place, your life will be so much less stressing. Okay? So today's topic is, why do you care what they think? Honestly, like, why do you really care what other people think? You know, um, Oftentimes we tend to, excuse me, I have a cold. But oftentimes we tend to do and say things based on how others feel and their opinions about things. We kind of try to cater a lot towards others, when in actuality, I think that takes away from you being your true authentic self. So we always seem to kind of want to gain approval. Like, oh, I'm not going to do this unless, someone else agrees with me, especially when your gut is telling you to go ahead and jump out and do it. So now, I'm not saying that, you know, we tend to run and ask people for their opinions sometimes. And I'm not saying that's not something you can't do. However, your decision should not be based solely on that, on what that other person's opinion is. You have to, you gather information, you ask people for opinion because you want feedback, and you just gather that information so you can make a sound decision that's best for you, to have the best outcome for you. So why do you really care what people think? And we spend a lot of time, I know a lot of people, they spend a lot of time kind of trying to please other folks, if you will. And why? The question is why? Why do you care what they think? Like I said, your decision shouldn't be based solely off of their opinions. It really shouldn't. I mean, it should be your decision and something that's going to make you happy. So why, again, do you care what others think? And you're going to hear me say that throughout, because we do care, but why? And I want you to ask yourself that question. Why do you care what other people think? So, will you, let me ask you a few questions. Will you choose to make that decision based off of what someone else thinks? Say you are trying to go do this new venture and you're really excited about it and you just want to get someone else's opinion, someone you value, but you want their opinion, and then their opinion just shuts you down, like just shuts you down, totally down. Are you still going to not do what you feel is right because they told you it was wrong, or they didn't feel it? Why? I mean, why does their opinion really matter? If it's something you want to do, at the end of the day, you go ahead and do it because you know that's what's best for you. So I don't think anyone should, excuse me, live their life based on the opinions of others. Point blank, I just don't think you should. I remember for me, I was always a natural people pleaser. I wanted to please people all the time. I want everybody to smile, I want everybody to be happy. And I tended to do things that I wasn't quite too excited about, but I did it anyway, for the sake of others. I would say I gave in a whole lot. So I just really think I gave in a whole lot. So, but I wasn't like getting anything. So I remember one time, um, this happened quite a few times, but I do remember it's being the same thing where friends would ask me if I wanted to do, say, XYZ. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was so long ago. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And I knew I was in a little rut. So I just really didn't feel like doing anything, just kind of wanted to be by myself. And they kept pressing and pressing and pressing. And I kept saying, no, I don't want to do it. And I'm just giving you guys like a real life example on, how we tend to want to please people and the impacts of it. So I actually kept saying no, I'm not going to be good company. You don't want me to go. And they kept insisting, yeah, we want you to go. And they kept going and going and going, and they got on my freaking nerves. So in the end, I ended up saying, okay, I'll go. Mind you, I did not want to go. I pleaded, but I went anyway because I knew it was going to make them happy. So hopefully, Clarence, this may answer your question. But I wanted to make them happy because, that decision kind of resonated on them. However, me being the person that I am, I went. I knew I wasn't going to have a good time because I wasn't in a space to even go out and have any fun at all. And the question I got throughout the whole night was, what's up with you? What's wrong with you? Why are you not smiling? Why are you not talking? Why are you not being yourself? And I just gave them that side eye like, well, I told you already I didn't want to come, but since you insisted, this is what you got. So you're going to have to deal with it. I'm not feeling it, but I'm here and you're happy I'm here. We're good, right? But I wasn't feeling it and I was miserable. So so after that, that's when I decided to not do that anymore. But I'm going to stop real quick and I'm going to answer Clarence's question. Should our decisions be based on other people's opinions if it will affect others? I think you can consider it. I really think you should consider it if it does impact them. But at the end of the day, I think it more so, if it doesn't feel right or resonate with your spirit, then you need to go with your gut. That's just how I feel about it. I do consider others and their feelings and some of their opinions, especially if it does impact them. But at the end of the day, it's going to ultimately be my decision. And there will probably be consequences if I go with the way I feel is right for me. That may not be necessarily right for them, but there's a respect factor you have to have in there too, because they're going to have to respect your decision to do what was best for you. It's not that you didn't consider their feelings or their opinions, because you considered it and you really thought long and hard about it. However, at the end of the day, you have to live with the decision that you made. So what if you made that decision and their feeling wasn't in tune with you? Then you're going to really feel bad about it, but they're going to be happy because you made a decision based on them. So I hope that answers your question, Clarence. I really do. So I will go ahead and continue. Throughout my life, I actually have I've learned a great deal, you guys. I've learned that I cannot continue to do what's right for others when it's not right for me. Because if it doesn't feel good or right for me, then it's just going to be like that day I went out and did not want to go out, and I just had attitude about it, and everybody else might have been having this spectacular time, but I wasn't, because I knew where I was. And I think, when you're friends with people and in different relationships, they have to respect that. And if they can't respect, the fact that you're telling them kind of how you feel and that you're not feeling it and stop pressing you for it, then they need to, then you really have to rethink your friendship. Now, I was that person. I was that person that kind of was like, come on, you can go, you can do this, yada, yada, yada. But then it got to the point where I got tired of doing it. I'm like, look, if you don't want to go, I'm only going to ask you once, maybe twice. Maybe twice. And if you say no both times, and I'm done with it. Obviously, there's a reason why you don't want to do whatever it is. So you got to keep that in mind. You have to respect the other person's decision. I wish more people would respect mine sometimes. However, hey, they're learning and they'll get it eventually. I can't speak to marriages, Clarence, because I have never been married, so I don't know. I would think that it should. However, I can't speak to that because I really, that's not my experience, not my reality. But I really think it should, and it's a real good question. I'm going to have to ask some of my married friends that question. So I kind of took a step back and was just basically saying, okay, I should consider, your feelings, because you should consider other feelings, but at the end of the day, it's ultimately, it's my decision. And me doing that and people pleasing all the time was taking a lot of energy out of me. I was emotionally and mentally drained because every decision that I was making, I was kind of basing it off, well, I want to do this, but I want to make sure this person and this person will be okay in this environment. And to me, that's too much energy. I'm thinking, granted, y'all may not get along, and that's cool, but y'all get along with me. So I'm like, bygones be bygones and just suck it up and, be there for me for once. But I do consider feelings, but I just don't let it determine the decisions that I do make. Hopefully that makes sense. Um, but actually, once I started thinking that way and kind of started putting myself first, then I actually started living the best life I've lived in forever and ever and ever and ever. And it took me a minute to learn this. Like my cousins, they can attest to me always being a part of someone else's issue. When I'm just hearing about the issue, I get all worked up. And it was just taking a lot out of me. And so over the years, I actually stopped doing that. I don't ask those questions anymore. If someone wants to talk to me about something, they'll talk to me, but I'm just not going to let it influence my decision. I just can't have that, because when I do that, then I take away from me being 100% Javita and just, and then living for everybody else. And I have to live for me. I have to live for me, and I have to take care of my family. Because when you think about it, at the end of the day, why do you care? Why should you care about others people's opinion? I don't anymore because number one, is wasted energy. It wasted too much of my energy. It took too much out of me to do that. Number two, their opinions do not pay my bills. They do not, take care of this household. So technically, I value your opinion, but don't be mad if I choose to go with something else or I make a different decision that wasn't based off of your opinion. Don't be mad. Respect the fact that I listened to you and took it into consideration. But don't be mad at me, because that doesn't make me a bad person. That just makes me someone who speaks and thinks for herself and would, use a lot of input just to help her come to that conclusion, to whatever decision she needs to make. So now there are times when there are things that I could possibly do that I kind of do care what people think, when it's the right thing to do. And I may not like it, but it's the right thing to do. And so I'll do that. I'll make my decision based on it being the right thing to do because of my morals and my standards that I live for, in my life. But I ultimately, I don't think anyone should really care what other people think. I mean, when you make a decision, you just make a sound decision, and you have to recognize and be respectful of others' decisions. It's okay that I may ask you for your opinion and I don't use it. It's okay. I ask, I inquire because I wanted to know, because it helped me to make the best decision for me. And people have to understand and respect it. And if they don't, then you need to check your relationship. Basically, that's just how I feel about it. So that's my point of view on why should you care? Like, really, 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 why should you care what people think? Live your life, do what you want to do. You can consider, but don't let what their opinions and what they think and how they feel really impact your overall decision. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with your decision. They 9 times out of 10, they don't. And if you're in relationships, y'all can work it out. I'm pretty sure you guys would know each other. It's been a minute since I've been in one, so I would think that you all could work it out and stuff. I hope. But in my friendships, we have worked it out. We agree to disagree, and that's what it's all about. But do I care what other people think? Do I care about their decision? No, because ultimately it does not impact my day-to-day operation. I have to ultimately live with that choice, that decision. So again, I'm going to ask you as I close, why should you care what other people think? Why? Think about that. I thank you guys for tuning in to this week's edition of Wind Down Wednesdays. I have a couple of things coming up that I will announce next week during Live Down Wednesdays. So please tune in so you can hear about it. If you would like to know how I can help you devise a plan so that you can build your network and your net worth, then please do not hesitate to schedule your private consultation with me at www.chatwithjovita.info. All right. Thank you for the love, the likes, the hearts, the shares, and just thank you guys for listening. I will talk with you next week. See ya for Wind Down Wednesdays with Jovita. Good night.